All right, good evening, YouTube. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to episode number 9.
¿Cómo estás?
Yes.
YouTube.
What is this? Video access being recorded. Okay.
All right.
What does this say?
We're here on YouTube. Oh, yeah.
Microphone? Yeah.
Hopefully Derek's got the microphone set up properly, too.
I should.
Is it on the USB setting?
Yes, it's on USB setting.
Okay, we're good then.
I believe we are good.
All right.
All right. Hey there, Mickey. All right. Episode number 9. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Hey there, it's Mickey. I've been in the booth too long. Wings are in the playoffs, and I'm gonna sing this song. Yeehaw! Hey, get your red on. It's playoff time again. Hey, get your red on. The boys are playing to win. Hey, get your red on, and come on to the Joe.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a special
Your redneck
playoff-
edition of hockey.
Yeah, your redneck special edition here. This is episode number 9 of D&D Sports Chat, coming to you live from the studio here in Garden City, Michigan. It is Wednesday, April 13th, 2016. I almost said 13. I had a little bit of a time warp there.
Twilight Zone?
A little bit of a Twilight Zone there. Danny, what's going on tonight, man?
I don't know if you just made me listen to that
It's going to be stuck in your head.
dreadful tune.
Don't even lie.
I
That's
feel like,
that is our own Mickey Redmond singing a song. This is actually off the 2002 Stanley Cup champion CD. Get Your Red On by, and I mean I think he doesn't sound bad. I think he's actually pretty good.
He doesn't sound too bad. I think his voice has changed a little bit, though.
Yeah, a little bit. He's gotten older, of course, but yeah, I give Mick some credit on that one.
Oh, goodness, though. We had to listen to it before the show quite a bit, so I'm kind of getting a little bit kind of sick of it a little bit.
Well,
No offense, Mickey.
yeah, no offense, but hey, tonight's a big night. Obviously,
I'd rather hear Doc Emmerich doing
Yeah.
that, personally.
Holy Jeff, Mickey Redmond.
Waffle board into the corner here.
Nobody ever compares though to Gary Thorne and Bill Clement. I'm sorry. Doc Emmerich is
Doc
a very
Emmerich's
good.
great.
He's a great commentator. He's good. Of course he's still part of our younger generation as we listened to him when we were growing up. But yeah, commentating just isn't the same without Gary Thorne and Bill Clement. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's not. But Doc Emmerich's pretty good.
Yeah.
Fill in there. You can kind of. He tickles your fancy. Well, he does mine anyway. I love Doc Emmerich calling games.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be calling quite a few this
Oh
playoff
yeah.
season.
Yep. When it's on the NBC Sports Network, I'm sure a lot of them games will be on there.
They're all over the place. If you've looked around USA, NBC Sports Network, they're everywhere.
Yeah. But why don't you tell us? We'll start right off with our Red Wings segment of the night, and who's our sponsor for that tonight?
Detroit Red Wings, presented by J&J Taxmore. Tax season is winding down in a hurry, so get in for your 1040 easy forms, federal and state, only $40. Call Joe at 734-523-8291. Mention this ad for this exclusive offer, and he'll definitely hook you up. Tax time is winding down. I think
2
we've got
days.
A couple more days.
2 more days. April 15th, I
We'll
believe, is the official deadline. So get your taxes into Mr. Joe Bartley, located at J&J Taxes and More, right there at Ford and Middlebelt, downtown Garden City. So the Red Wings tonight, kicking off Game 1. Of course, last week we didn't quite know the Red Wings' fate as far as the playoffs were concerned, but you, I believe, were the only one that did not have the Red Wings making it in. Are you still sticking true to that little bet you had there, that side
I'll
wager?
go get my pedicure.
You going by yourself?
Yeah, they're back their way in the most embarrassing
Yeah.
fashion. Everybody's just like, well, just get in. Yeah, they got in, but guess what?
Ottawa
You
Senators.
better be sending the Ottawa
A
Senators
fruit basket,
some cookies.
Christmas card.
Better be getting Eric Carlson some nice hair gel there. Better
yeah.
be thanking the Ottawa Senators.
And somewhat thanking Boston for blowing that game. You know, a lot of people thought that when they kicked our ass in that second to last game, everybody was thinking, oh, they're riding all the momentum going into Game 82. But spoke a little bit too soon there, and they just got rolled. What was that, 6-1 they got beat?
They got absolutely embarrassed. And
Ottawa had really nothing to play for, but they just
Rask
came out.
absolutely shelled.
Yeah.
Did not look good.
Booed off the ice.
And Claude Julien probably lost his job because
done.
of this. So the Boston Bruins are kind of in shambles right now.
Boston is a team that has kind of lost its stride over the last few seasons. Since they won that last cup, I believe
Since they traded away Tyler Seguin.
Which, I mean, hey, they still were all right. They won their last cup in 2011. And this is a team that is actually now, this is the second straight year they've missed the playoffs, I believe. 2 out of the last 3 years. I mean, this is a team that had somewhat of a dynasty in the making, so to speak. Nothing like Chicago or anything like that, but they were a very physical team. They were a young team at one point. And,
look at the losses from recent years. They've lost Tyler Seguin. You lose Tyler Seguin. Zdeno Chara continues to age rapidly.
Yeah, his game's definitely.
You lose Milan Lucic, who is a very hungry power forward. He's not going to put up the kind of points.
Enforcer and a goal scorer.
But he's a very. They lost that
powerful presence.
Big, laying on the body, a team that you don't want to come face playoff time.
Oh, absolutely.
And unfortunately, that's not their motto anymore. They're going to beat you with Bergeron and Marchand if those two guys don't get the job done.
And Marchand, you said it before you liked him. His style of play is great. And even Bergeron,
he scored
too.
30 goals this year. He had a heck of a season.
Underrated, in my opinion. I mean, he's been around the league for a couple of years now, but, I mean, man, what a presence out there.
He's the little piranha. That's what I call him. He's a very small guy, has a lot of heart, scored 30 goals this year, career year for Brad Marchand. A guy that you love to hate, one of the guys that you just hate so much seeing playing against your team. But if he's on your team, you absolutely love the guy. A guy that can score you 25, 30 goals a season. This year could have been a little bit much, but he did have a career season. So I'm going to say that next season he's not going to score 30.
He'll tame out of it. Yeah, he'll slow it down.
He's going to, kind of bottom out
He'll
a little
pan
bit
out.
next year.
He'll pan out. I mean, he's definitely a first or second line player, no doubt about it. Would he be a good fit on the Red Wings? Absolutely, I think.
That's not the Red Wing hockey, man.
It's not Red Wing hockey, but I think if he was on the Red Wings, boy, what a spark he could be. And but he's not going to be on this team. Not anytime soon.
Absolutely not.
Maybe at age 38 when the Red Wings actually start signing players that used to matter. But speaking of the Red Wings, all right, it's all about them tonight as well as the Tigers. But the Red Wings kick off their 25th consecutive playoff appearance against Tampa Bay Lightning, a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference quarterfinal. Currently an intermission, first period, already 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Oh, who called that one?
Well, as far
who
as
called
the score,
Kucherov or Tyler
Johnson
Johnson scoring.
And they both got
that
points.
was me.
They both got points. But you're saying this basically to rub it in nice, everyone on the ticket's face.
I'm rubbing this in a lot of people's face because everybody told me, oh, yeah, Tyler Johnson's going to be, basically a zombie out there if he does play in Game 1. But look at that. He's not going to be an impactful player. Look, he's already had an assist. He's already making an impact.
Holy jumping!
Exactly. Thank you, Mickey. But he's made an impact already.
Yeah.
An assist. Jonathan Drouin will make an impact in this series. Guarantee it.
And, as far as the Red Wings, obviously we didn't get to see that first period. They were out shooting Tampa. As a matter of fact, they outshot them in that first period 9-4. So, I mean, obviously they got the upper hand of the shots, but Jimmy Howard giving up a goal on his very first shot. You can't really dog the team on that one. I mean, I don't know what the goal was like. We weren't witnessing it, but I'm sure we'll see it on replay. But, Red Wings, their work is cut out for them. Anytime in the playoffs when you're already down a goal, it's early. Yeah, we got still 40 minutes to go. But, your backs are already against the wall. And you got to win. You got to split these two games in Tampa.
Oh, absolutely.
I actually had them losing tonight and winning on Friday night. But, either way it goes, you cannot go back to Detroit down 0-2 against Tampa, and you shouldn't. When this is a team that's been depleted with injuries, as far as, your star Steven Stamkos is out. And a lot of people were going crazy about this because the fact he's a captain, he's a 30-plus goal scorer and all that stuff. But at the same time, people that let's rewind the tapes back to last year. Steven Stamkos was basically invisible in last year's series.
He was a non-factor.
He was a non-factor.
But want to know why he's still a factor is because he's so dangerous.
Yep.
And he potentially
playmaker.
You slow him down, yes, and the Wings were able to contain him. But the factor that number 91 is still on that ice, he still gets attention. He's going to be heavily matched, which opens up free ice for guys like Callahan, Johnson, Kucherov, whoever it might be. Steven Stamkos not scoring is still a factor.
Yeah.
Not having Stamkos at all is absolutely just nervousome. If you're a Lightning
It's a
fan
whole
right
new
now,
look to this team for sure.
You're really concerned because you got a lot of banged up guys. Tyler Johnson's playing right now. He's probably 70%, if that.
Yeah, that was a nasty hit he took in Montreal.
He's not going to be the same Tyler Johnson, but he's still a guy who's got a lot of heart, good, solid player. He's going to make an impact, and he already has an assist. So there you have it.
And let's also talk about another key piece missing in Lightning's lineup is Anton Strawman. I mean, hands down, their number 2 defenseman. And,
honestly, he's probably their number 1.
As far as their top 2 defensemen, yeah, he would be in that top line defense. And this is a guy that is also provides a pretty physical presence on the ice, goal scorer as well. He's an offensive defenseman, good point shot. But even so, I was looking at Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning stats through the season. I know it's different, regular season playoffs, but power play amongst the worst in the league, 28th in the league.
They really did.
They really set back on their power play. Yeah, they used to have a top 5 power play a year ago. They were great, and now they've just totally gotten a setback. And I don't really know what the cause of that was. Steven Stamkos's point numbers, their point totals did diminish a lot this year. This is a guy that has scored, 100 points in the season, and he definitely diminished a lot this year. And, health, I'm sure health issues are a concern, but
off the ice
issues.
He's being rumored to be traded.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what his future is right now.
That's a contract you're going to stay away from through the Red Wings.
He's definitely got a lot on his plate. Now he's got a big blood clot situation in his arm.
It's a dangerous thing.
So I don't think that's going to deter teams from signing him in the offseason, but it might also make you he might lose $1 million. Might lose a little bit of money, maybe a few years.
Yeah.
But he's not a guy, if you're talking to me right now and I'm going to start a franchise, I would take Steven Stamkos in a heartbeat. But he's not a guy that I would target if I was the Detroit Red Wings in the offseason because, let's face it, we already got a $7.5 million cap hit.
And it's going to stay on that contract.
From there you go. So there's Steven Stamkos year 1.
Now Pavel, if we want to segue and talk about Pavel Datsyuk a little bit, is that now he's not even sure if he's going to leave the NHL at the end of the season. He's flip-flopping a little bit. I think it's going to depend a lot on the outcome of the playoffs.
I have a few issues with this whole thing
Let's do
now. Is that, one, don't be a distraction.
No.
This is a young team, and as much as everybody can disagree with me on this, Pavel Datsyuk has picked a terrible time to let this surface. You're going into the playoffs. Let this happen come June, July, when the Wings are done.
This was not his fault. This wasn't his fault.
Well, tell Mitch Albom to shut his mouth.
No, not Mitch Albom. This was released. The whole thing about the retirement rumors started 2 weeks ago on that CBC.
Canada. I get that, but you need to close the door. You need to completely lock.
He's trying. He's trying to say, they've been trying to rip all these answers out of him.
That's unfortunate with media.
Yeah,
and
the media are going to do
Twitter
that because you're a big name, and especially in the world of hockey, and you're a guy that has spent your entire career in Detroit, the last 15 years, and he's the magic man, and he's going to try to keep it contained as much as possible. They keep asking him, "Is this going to be a distraction?" Well, if it keeps getting talked about, it's going to cause a distraction. And then when you come out and say that you tell Mitch Albom that you're going to leave the NHL at the end of the playoffs this year, it's gonna start some swirling around. You're gonna. I think the team as a whole, they want to play hard, but you're also got in the back of your mind, all right, hey, one of our top centermen are leaving or potentially leaving. So I would have kept that opinion to myself until after the playoffs were over with.
It's just very, very poor timing. And yes, this can be used as 2 ways. It can be used as a motivation tool, as let's win it for Pavel, let's do this for Pavel, let's move on for Pavel.
Yeah.
Or it's a complete distraction. Players are distracted because, this could be the final game I'm playing with Pavel. It's just unfortunate timing and circumstances that arise. It's just not good for this team. I think it's not going to play a huge factor on whether this team wins or loses this series against Tampa. I believe that Datsyuk is going to play a very little factor in this series, whether the Wings win or lose. Mm-hmm. If the Wings do win this series, Pavel Datsyuk has a big series, and he has some decent contributions on the ice. Wings lose this series, Datsyuk goes maybe 2 points.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it will have to depend, like I said, on the series outcome, how far we make it. If we do beat Tampa, what happens after that, which in hindsight, it's probably not going to be a very long run for the Red Wings, but we'll see. I mean, anything is possible. We've talked about it all day. But, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with his on-ice performance. Mm-hmm. A lot of it also comes down to his health, if he's able to stay healthy. Hopefully he does not injure or re-injure himself. And leading to that, why don't we go ahead and segue into that piece of paper that you got there? And as far as what we were talking about before the show started, Potential Hall of Fame questions start to arise when talking about Pavel Datsyuk. This is a guy that's been, obviously, his tenure is there. When you've been with the same team for 15 years, okay, right there, that's there. But his stats, as far as games played, and what have you done for me lately?
That's what a lot of sports is. And I know it's probably a shame to think that way, but what have you done for me lately is kind of the mantra.
Last 5 years for Pavel Datsyuk. Go ahead and read it off.
66 games, 63 games, 45 games, 70 games, 56 games.
And 4 out of those 5 years have been injury-ridden seasons.
A guy that is as talented as Pavel is, and he's really slowed down. Yes, in the 2014-2015 season, he scored 26 goals.
Mediocre.
Pavel Datsyuk's never had a 100-point season.
Never. 97, right?
97 is his career high.
97.
He did that twice in 2007, 2008, and 08,
the
09.
2 years that we went to the Stanley Cup Finals.
So he had potentially 2 big years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which were not that
good
long
numbers.
ago.
He's had a stretch of 4 seasons where he was good. Now, does 4 seasons get you a Hall of Fame bid?
No. Now they're going to look at the Stanley Cup rings. He's got 2 of them.
In those Stanley Cup runs,
look
2
at
years.
Yeah.
2 years, he made an impact in the playoffs. Besides that, you look at these numbers.
What are his playoff numbers? That's where it all boils down to.
Playoff numbers.
And remember, in 01-02, he was playing behind pretty much the entire Hockey Hall of Fame. And he was on that 4th line that year. He had a couple playoff goals, if I remember correctly. That was when he was a 23-year-old rookie. But then in 07-08.
07-08, yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
Had a lot of points. Was definitely a factor with the team. But the playoff runs the Wings have had, he hasn't made a whole lot of impact. 3 goals in the past couple seasons in the playoffs.
It's up for debate. It definitely is up for debate. I mean, the career numbers don't lie.
I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, and arguably so. I know Datsyuk is, kind of like a god here in Detroit. Yeah. I know what he can do on the ice. I know he's very talented.
The Magic Man.
And I'm not going to take away what he's done for the organization, the team, but does 4 years get you into the Hall of Fame? He's had some good seasons, but he's also had a lot of injury-plated seasons. Everybody's going to say Datsyuk is a Hall of Famer.
Same with Henrik Zetterberg as well.
Henrik Zetterberg and Pavel Datsyuk are very, very close.
The Euro twins, and I'm not trying to be, calling out the Euros here, but it's always widely known that I feel like a lot of the times the Europeans are the ones that have a lot of injuries. Huh? That's what the Red Wings do.
Ovechkin came off that list.
Yeah. We tend to draft a lot of Euros.
And that's the Wings' philosophy.
It's been like that for the past decade.
The Wings love to go get those guys from Finland, from Russia, Sweden. They love to go down there and just scout talent and pick the crops down there, as you will, and just take them to draft them, and here they are. And luckily, Datsyuk has emerged to be a heck of a talent and a heck of a grab, because he was not a first, second, third round pick. He was late rounds.
Defenseman Nick Cronwall had an interview with the Detroit Free Press a couple days ago, and he's been comparing the whole Datsyuk situation to that of when Nicholas Lindstrom retired back in 2012, basically saying that we kind of knew a few days before the playoffs started that Nicky was going to retire, but this is kind of different because, Nick Lindstrom was 41. He was kind of slowing down. It was already kind of there. This kind of came out of the blue. I don't think anybody really had a clue that Datsyuk was planning on leaving so immediate. I can see him making the announcement at the start of next year, riding out his last contract and whatnot, and then doing the right thing, at least playing for that $7.5 million.
Play one more year. I get it. You want to go back to your family,
but you're leaving that money. You got to make that money worth something. Don't leave it on the table.
I don't think it's the money that he's after. He's
homesick.
He's homesick. He misses family, and arguably so. I completely.
His 13-year-old daughter.
Russia is, moons away from the United States.
Yeah.
He's away from his family. Friends, a lot of things that his career is winding down. He's starting, I think, realize I've taken some setbacks. So there you have it. And I think you got some breaking news from your face.
Yeah, I just happened to refresh this. It's actually 2-1 Red Wings right now in the second period already. 13:26 to go. Let me see if I can get a box score on this one. Wow.
To the minute update.
Yeah, that's
tell
really.
By your facial
I know. I looked at that. I was like, wait a second.
Either Tampa was up 3-0 or Detroit's up.
Am I reading this correctly? But Mike Green and Justin Abdicator.
Okay.
Mike Green got it on a slap shot, assisted from Danny DeKaiser and Thomas Tatar, and then Justin Abdicator, a tip-in, assisted from Kyle Quincy. So
That's
it's a little bit of
Abdicator goal.
some unsung heroes there. None of the big names really, except for Abby, but Mike Green. That's good for him getting that goal. A lot of people have been dogging him, questioning him if he was going to actually have a good playoff run here, because he was a big question mark throughout the season. I think his regular season numbers were decent. Do I want to say he lived up to the expectations? Probably not so much.
The guy's been in the NHL for 9-10 seasons. He's past his prime.
He is. He's 30
30
years old.
His best hockey was played with the Washington Capitals. You got Mike Green at the tailspin of his career. He's not at the prime of his career.
But these numbers are not bad. 74 games played, 7 goals, 28 assists, 35 points. That's average for a defenseman. And he is on the top line.
What a lot of people are seeing is you're seeing the Ghost Bears, the PK Subpans, the Eric Carlsons.
There's a new generation of defensemen that are overtaking this league.
The Wings don't have guys like that.
No. I mean, granted, we do have to we have to address our defensive issues in the off season. And that's going to be a whole other. They have a lot of things, and just because if we have some fluky playoff run here, don't let that fool you. We still have a lot of issues to solve.
The Wings have.
We don't want to be where we were at this point next year, like how we were this year.
Off season should be extremely, extremely busy.
Yeah.
Between the Datsuk situation,
the goaltending
situation, free agency, which the Wings are not going to do a darn thing. The Wings will draft some guy from Russia. Yeah. We all know that's coming. And then also you got, what is the deal with Anthony Mantha?
I posted on the D&D page earlier in the week about, of course he got sent down back to Grand Rapids. They called up Joachim Anderson, and to my dismay, I have no idea what the hell the deal is there. But
well, Derek, this is the explanation right here. Well, Joachim Anderson, he's a big body, and he's gonna play a little bit, 8-9 minutes, and he'll be more of a factor defensively than Anthony Mantha will, because Anthony Mantha is just a pile of crap. That's basically Ken Holland. I'll sum up what Ken Holland is really thinking right now. Ken Holland disgusts me.
He does. And it all starts back from
uncalled for comments that singling out Mantha. Why is Mantha in the doghouse?
I'm gonna read a little quote here. This is from the DetroitSportsNation.com website. Detroit Red Wings management is at it again. Not even a year after Red Wings senior vice president Jim Devellano called out one of the Red Wings' top prospects, Anthony Mantha, current GM Ken Holland made it clear that Mantha is a clear disappointment in the eyes of the organization. Mantha, who was Detroit's first-round draft pick in 2013, has spent most of the season in Grand Rapids. He was brought up to Detroit in March in hopes of sparking the power play and helping the Wings find some scoring touch, which he did. Which he did exactly what he was supposed to do. However, after just his first 10 games, Mantha is on his way back to Grand Rapids after Detroit called up defensive specialist Joachim Anderson. Yeah.
Gosh.
Ken Holland said of Mantha in a Detroit News article on Sunday.
Because the Wings can put up 5 goals a game, guys.
Yeah, right. Defensive specialist, I got to use that one in big-time quotations, and I got to definitely crack a big smile after that one. But Ken Holland said of Mantha in a Detroit News article on Sunday, he says, Anthony Mantha was a spare part in the Calder Cup playoffs a year ago. Why does anyone think he is going to be the answer in Detroit? Whoa there, Ken.
Why don't you just send his bag? Why don't you just pack his bag and say,
"What's
Here,
the
we're going
point?
to trade you"?
What do you? Yeah, what is the
just
point?
Absolutely garbage.
Mind-boggling.
That comments that were made by you got 2 guys.
Now, agreeing with what Holland said about Mantha, he needs to play games. He does, but that's about as far as I'm willing to go. As far as agreeing with what his words are, he's just. I don't understand where the cancer that he sees in Mantha. What is going on behind the scenes? Nobody's really been talking about it.
I've never seen any interviews with Anthony Mantha because he doesn't get that kind of airtime. That's Zetterberg and Cronwall territory. But he doesn't. He seems just like a quiet young guy. Goes about his business. He's not flashy, kind of like Dylan Larkin's a little bit flashy. I think Dylan Larkin's got a little bit of an ego, which if you're a professional hockey player and you're Dylan Larkin and you're tearing it up like he did, you're going to have that ego. Mm-hmm. Anthony Mantha seems like he's humble.
Yeah.
Puts on the skates, goes to work, plays his 9 minutes.
He seems so quiet, and the fact that he's just getting ball busted by the Red Wings upper management is just mind-boggling. I mean,
now if he's so untouchable, and you won't trade him for whoever. You will not get rid of him because there's been so many years now where the Wings could have made that pushed that button, said we're going to trade Mantha. If he's so in the doghouse and all the Wings high ups don't like him and he's just here to be a spare part, why don't you trade the guy? Because he's got some value before he diminishes away, before you throw him in Grand
Well,
Rapids.
that's the thing. It's like, when you got a guy like Holland that's running this team, part of me thinks that it's got to do with who's in charge of the locker room. When you got guys like Zetterberg, Kronwall, they're probably the leaders of the locker room, right?
I would say so, absolutely.
So, they'd love to see their Swedish line mate, a guy like Anderson, back in there, come playoff time. They want to see him in there. I mean, not like he's going to make a big impact.
No more than
defensive specialist. Yeah,
because the Wings are scoring a light in the lamp with authority right now. That just.
But why would you, if you're a guy like Holland, why would you be bashing your first round pick? You're calling him a spare part of in a statement that tells me that he's totally out of touch with his farm team. And
Holland is out of touch with his pro team, his farm team.
How is that supposed to build up a guy like Mantha's confidence? If you're calling him out like this is 2 times now in the last 2 years. How is that supposed to build his confidence up?
It doesn't.
It's not.
Basically,
it's going to diminish everything about his.
If I'm
anything
Anthony Mantha, I want to leave this organization.
Yeah.
I want to get on the first plane and say bye-bye Detroit, because that's a slap in the face.
And you were touching on this earlier before we went live, because I was talking about how AA, Andreas Athanasiou, has to make an impact, and he probably will. But if they refuse to keep playing him more, if they don't play him more than 9 minutes a night, then you're not going to get that.
Okay, and here's another thing I want to bring up to you. Okay, Drew Miller's close to returning. Drew Miller's skating. He's practicing.
Isn't he a penalty kill?
And here's what you're going to love even more than Anthony Mantha sitting.
Oh, dear.
Guess who's taking his seat when Drew Miller comes in the lineup in Game 2, Game 3 of this series? Anthony Athanasiou. 8-9 minutes a game, he sits.
They're going to put Drew Miller in there for 15 minutes a game.
Drew Miller will play. And that way you can have 3 lines of grinders.
Go dye your hair. I can't. I don't understand that.
I don't like it. How do you justify Anthony Mantha's performance? When he came up here, the Wings power play got better. The Wings started winning hockey games. Anthony Mantha was a spark. Yeah, he wasn't scoring every night, but who does? Mm-hmm. He was a factor in the games that he played. You give him a little bit more time, you can cut some guys' shifts. Glendening doesn't need to be out there constantly. Sheehan doesn't need to be out there as much. Anthony Mantha has some goal-scoring touch.
Yeah, he does.
Glendening and Sheehan don't really have that.
And when this power play was on such a long drought, you bring Anthony Mantha up for 10 games. Oh, and in those 10 games, the Detroit Red Wings power play starts to turn around. And you start seeing a little bit more of a hungry aspect out of this team. And then they send him down. And, what happens? What happened in those 2 games that Anthony Mantha got sent down? The Red Wings got their asses beat. Not saying that Anthony Mantha is the grace and savior of this team, but he made an impact.
It does make the ball go in your court when you go, oh, look what I've done when I was here. And then
your
look what
2
happens
biggest
when I'm
games
gone.
that you're supposed to go out there and win. You got 2 games against Boston and the Rangers, and you totally get shell-shocked. And Anthony Mantha did not play either one of those games. So it kind of makes me think, like, okay, what's going to be the tongue lashing in that one? What's going to be the backlash? Oh, well, we made the playoffs. We backed our way in. It's a fresh slate. And then, of course, you got this new logo at center ice where they totally they abolished the Hockeytown logo, and it's basically the logo of the 25th anniversary of the playoffs. Now, I said this to you today. When I posted this, I said right away.
I know you love it.
I did. No, I said, my exact words were, I don't think I really dig this. I don't think I like it. And I had 3 beefs with it, 2 of which were OCD. But the first one was.
That's Derek Partin, right?
Yeah, of course it's me. If you know me well, you know I have horrible OCD. It's terrible.
You do.
Number 1, this logo, they don't have anything about Hockeytown on there, which that can be debated.
Hockeytown, that's not Detroit no more.
Yeah,
Come on
that's
now.
Chicago. Yeah, is that Chicago?
That's Chicago, man. Come on.
Whatever. And then number 2 is, of course, the biggest OCD part of all. If you look at the logo, Joe Louis Arena is not centered, which it bugs me every time I look at it. But the third thing about it relates right back to our wonderful GM, Kenny Holland. And what I see is this trying to shove down our throats, all of our Detroit sports fans, fair weather fans, hardcore fans, whatever.
Ooh, the streak.
Yeah, trying to shove the streak down our throat, basically saying that, hey, we're a mediocre hockey team at best. We backed our way into the playoffs. But, hey, just remind yourself that we made it in for a 25th consecutive year, which is a hell of an accomplishment. Don't take anything off. Don't take anything away from that.
That's what Ken Holland does.
But Ken Holland is basically, he's basically saying to himself, well, let's remind the entire NHL world that, the Red Wings are the only team that have a 25-year playoff appearance record, whatever. And that's all. They're going to go into the offseason regardless. They get swept out of the first round or whatever. They make it to the first, second round, whatever the case may be. They're going to end this offseason and think, well, at least we made the playoffs.
Was a success.
Hey, at least we made the playoffs for a 25th consecutive season. Don't hang your heads, boys. It was a good season.
Because the Red, and this is going to get me a lot of hate.
No.
And this is absolutely fine. You can bash me all you want on Twitter, dbart88. Go ahead, be my guest. The Red Wings' new mantra is get to the playoffs, keep that streak alive, and get beat in the first round.
That's too long. That's too long.
Do.
You got to shorten that up. You can't quote that. That's too long. Maybe for a Facebook status, but that's not a mantra.
Get in.
That's not a motto or a mantra.
Streak, get in, exit.
Yeah.
Red Wings mantra.
Mm-hmm.
Because until I'm proven wrong, and you're probably thinking, oh, this guy's an a-hole.
Yeah.
Whatever, that's until it's proven, beat Tampa Bay. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Tampa Bay, they're easy, they're ripened for the pickings, no Stamkos.
Beating Tampa Bay in 6 or 7 games, you can say, hey, we gritted them out, we grinded out, that series, whatever, because we took advantage of their weaknesses, their injuries. But if you beat them in 5 games or less, then you kind of
that's stamping your legacy right there.
I think people would start to kind of buy into the hype a little bit about, oh wow, this team actually beat Tampa. That even though they were depleted a little bit with injuries, they still had a decent goalie behind them. They had good defense. Who knows what Jonathan Drouin's going to do? But I think more people would buy into the whole thing that hey, the Red Wings could actually make it a little bit deeper than we thought. But the bottom line is this team needs scoring. It's not only the duo of Holland and Blashill calling out their young prospects in the papers again, like in this article suggests, but they're doing everything they can to make sure that the guys who have shown offensive abilities, the guys like Smith and AA, Polkinen, Mantha, whoever the case may be, those are the guys that have those are the guys that have the offensive abilities. But if the Red Wings make an early cup exit, you can blame Ken Holland because sending a guy like Mantha down, who has been a spark. That's all you needed. It's not a huge spark, but it's been a spark. It's been an impact, and I don't agree with the decision at all.
It's hard to – and then when if Drew Miller comes in the lineup, you're going to love it because guess who's going to be sitting? Anthony Ciu. Now, if you're a Red Wing fan –
and don't even get me started on Brendan Smith being a healthy scratch every night. The decision to bring up Anderson and send Mantha down, that's about as stupid as having Brendan Smith a healthy scratch every night. That's all I got to say.
Now, Teemu Polkinen as well. I get it. Polkinen's small. The playoffs are
rocket shot, though.
He's got a heck of a shot.
That power play.
He's a great sniper on the power play. Yeah, he's not Brett Hull 2.0, but he's got a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Not probably a good idea because of Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to beat you up. They're going to bang you around.
Oh, yeah.
Got a big team. He wouldn't really make a factor, I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony Mantha would. Anthony Mantha's 6'3", 6'4". He's got the size.
Mm-hmm.
I just
he has all the utensils of the hockey player.
I wish I could put this in perspective where I can say, okay, I get it.
I wish I could just be a fly on the wall one time in the Detroit Red Wings, upper management and just hear these conversations about Anthony Mantha and what he's really doing to piss guys off.
Doing?
I don't get it.
I completely
I
do not understand this
Me either.
way of thinking with Ken Holland, the Red Wings brass right now. It's just, because we need more defensive specialists here with the Detroit Red Wings because that's exactly what's going to win you a game. Because we're going to this is what we're going to do. We're going to hope that Larkin scores you 1 goal a game, and then we got Jimmy Howard or Peter Mrazek, and we're going to shut you down every single night, and we're going to win games 1-0. That is the Red Wings philosophy. That is how you win Stanley Cups. That's Ken Holland hockey.
That's Ken Holland hockey.
And I'm about to throw up for just saying that.
And I hate to burst your bubble, but the game is tied 2-2.
Who scored that?
The second goal, Nikita Kucherov, number 2 on the evening. How about that? Assisted by Braden Coburn and the other Nikita Nestorov. All right, Ken Holland. Yeah, I feel like this game is going to go back and forth. That
sounds like it.
Yep. So we got 2-2 game, 8 minutes to go in the second period. Go Wings.
On that note, exactly how I'm feeling. That's what Ken Holland does every day, I swear.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Holy jumping!
Well, we can. I guess we can move on. I mean, there's really not much more to say. I mean, but we can also talk about our picks, though. And I wanted to bring up our bracket picks before, of course, we start moving into Tiger Talk. All four of us, myself, Danny, Chris, and Steve, all members of the D&D family, we actually made our NHL bracket challenge picks. And to save time, I mean, do we want to just pick our Stanley Cup final?
Stanley Cup final.
All right, so I'm going to start off.
I don't want to be here 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with Chris, which I was really hoping that he would actually be on the show tonight, him and Steve.
He's watching that Red Wings
Well,
game.
the game was under intermission, but maybe they're going to wait till the second period. But by that time, we're probably going to be done talking about the hockey
We
segment.
can segue
but,
back if we get a caller.
yeah, I guess. But all right, so I'm going to start off with Chris's bracket here, and Chris's bracket is it's potential. It could happen. But
It's not what you said not on the air.
only because I actually picked this team that's winning the Stanley Cup to be an early exit. But he's got the LA Kings win the Stanley Cup against the Washington Capitals.
It's the Kings are gonna. Why I disagree with that, and I'm not gonna break down everybody's bracket.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say this: is LA's got to get past Chicago, Dallas,
Anaheim.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be extremely difficult to get by those teams for them. Even though with Jonathan Quick, Drew Doughty, Kopitar, the talent is there. They can do it. The West looks a lot more intimidating than the East now.
It is. I
Heck
mean,
of a lot
really,
bigger.
you got probably 3, potentially 4 favorites if you're looking at St. Louis, because St. Louis could be a dark horse, you know. But
That defense,
St. Louis,
absolutely. Defense, David Backes, who's hungry, playing for a contract next year. Vladimir Tarasenko.
and then there's Allen at goalie.
Allen is, Allen.
Well, this is where it all breaks down to experience. This is his, I believe, first playoff appearance. So that's where you kind of decide on, and you find out who you have.
And why the thing that concerns me with Chicago that makes me kind of worry about my pick personally is how much hockey the Chicago Blackhawks have played the past couple seasons. Every summer they're going deep. They're playing deep. They got to be getting tired, and that is a big concern. And that is my only concern for my pick personally.
Do you kind of feel like they're kind of going in the direction of the Red Wings, where, I mean, the Red Wings obviously were the Chicago Blackhawks of the late 90s, early 2000s, is that you kind of run out of things to play for. You've been there, done that.
You never do that.
I know, but as far as getting burnt out a little bit, you know, the drive to win a cup every year kind of starts to maybe diminish. Yeah, you're getting fresh faces on this team that have never been to the big dance before, but then you're also getting guys like Kane and Taves that have won 2 cups. So
Kane had one of the biggest seasons of his life. He's wanting to keep that
Hart
going.
Trophy winner, first
you
time
want to
American.
win it for Andrew Ladd.
Yeah.
You want to win the Stanley Cup again. You want to prove it again. Corey Crawford wants to win a Stanley Cup.
You win a cup this year, you pretty much have yourself a dynasty.
I'll say it. A lot of people don't want to say
That's
it.
3 cups in 6 years.
A lot of Red Wing faithfuls around here don't want to call the Hawks a dynasty, but they win it this year. You need to swallow that pill of.
Granted, no team has won back-to-back cups since the Red Wings in 97, 98, and the Red Wings. But they're, as far as the cup winning percentage, the Red Wings, they did it in 97, 98, but then they didn't win again until 2002. So I think it's a little bit more impressive what the Hawks have done, because even though they've been in 2 to 3 year periods, they still have they're in it every year. They're going to trying to make is their second or third Stanley Cup final.
It piles up.
Yeah, it does. I know this will be their 3rd cup in 6 years if they can get the job done, and I believe this is also their 4th Stanley Cup final in 6 years.
To the Bowmans.
Yeah, the Bowmans have just totally taken that team to new heights.
We'll go ahead and reveal
and they draft
Winkies.
All right, so first of all, let's all say that all 4 of us had the Washington Capitals going to the Stanley Cup final. I'll just say that. So from Chris's, we go down to Steve's, who has probably the most. I don't know how to say this. Risky Stanley Cup pick. It's doable. It's very doable.
Anything is doable.
But he has the St. Louis Blues win the Stanley Cup against the Capitals. He is also saying that only 10 goals total will be scored in this series. That would basically mean that you're going to have a sweep on your hands. That he's basically saying that St. Louis is going to sweep the Capitals, and you're going to have a couple shutouts coming from your goaltender there of Allen. So this is very, very unlikely. I think of our picks of all 4 of them, I would say that his is probably the most unlikeliest to happen. But it is, like I said, it's very, very doable. It's possible. Any one of these teams in the playoffs could win the Stanley Cup. But I mean, he has them going by Dallas, and then of course he has actually Chicago. He hasn't beaten Chicago in the first round in 7 games. which you mentioned earlier that's your series to watch for.
That is a series to watch because of Chicago. One is down a man. Duncan Keith's out for one game.
Yeah.
That's one game you could potentially lose. But
Yeah.
The
There's
Hawks
your
are the
7th
Hawks.
game. Yeah.
But the Hawks played so much hockey, as I noted earlier. St. Louis is a team that's could take them to their limit because how good and defensive depth is. Where
Experience
St. Louis
might
is
hurt
very strong.
them here, though.
They have a lot. They can match them pretty well with a lot of the facets of the game.
True.
Chicago will have their hands full, but I still see Chicago walking out of that series victorious.
Right. Really, the West, like you said, I mean, what he has them going, he has them beating Chicago, he has them beating Dallas, and then he actually has the Kings going to the conference finals. And but once again, Washington right there. So nobody is choosing to switch things up here. Then we go to my bracket, and as we talked about, I have the Chicago Blackhawks winning it all, beating the Capitals.
Now,
And on paper, this is going to be your Stanley Cup final on paper.
Well, that's on paper, and I feel you. I completely understand it. That's why I'm kind of thinking that I might have chosen incorrectly with my bracket.
You were wanting to change it before the show started.
I've been thinking about this. I really have, and and it's not because I've seen other people's brackets. It's because I started to really digest the pill of Chicago's played so much hockey that they're got to be fatigued. You've played into many summers, deep playoff runs. Takes its toll on the body.
Yeah, I mean they know what it's like. They've felt the glory before. They've tasted that champagne out of the cup many times, and I mean, really, you would think
they also know what it takes to win.
They do. They have that winning montage. But do you really think that they're
the
going
best captain in the NHL?
Do you really think?
It's true.
No. Do you really think that fatigue is going to carry over from just previous summers? I mean, it's a whole new season.
But you're playing so many games.
That's where I kind of question as far as.
And the Blackhawks have played so many games, game sevens. You're playing against the Ducks. You're playing against all these big, powerful teams. Yeah. You're going to get beat up.
And they faced St. Louis last year, didn't they? Beat them last year?
Yeah, you played so much hockey, and then you got to turn around. You got the short off season, and think of this: a lot of your off season, you're doing the parade. Yeah. You're spending time with family. You're busy. You're not.
Oh yeah.
There might not be as much relaxing as you'd like, but you gladly take that being a Stanley Cup champion. But the Hawks are got to be. They're professional athletes, so fatigue shouldn't be that big of a problem. But if you start seeing the Hawks slip a little bit, that could be a reason right there because of so much hockey played.
Mm-hmm. But and the whole thing with the East, the Capitals, I got them going. I don't see anybody that can knock out the Washington Capitals unless they defeat themselves. The only potential team that I can see beating them right now is Philadelphia, and that's why I have Philadelphia losing to Washington in 7. That was, I believe, the only 7-game series that I projected out of the first round.
Now you have a good point because Philadelphia has played a lot of grit, tough hockey, and the team that
probably the hottest team in NHL right now.
The team that could give them a test right out of the get-go is Philly.
Yeah,
Philly is just don't have the depth that Washington has.
But I also talked about had they used up all of their energy because they fought so hard to come back.
And Steve Mason, as I like Steve Mason,
ever since he was with Columbus,
he's not that guy.
No, he's not your playoff goalie.
You're going against Washington Capitals, who have a ton of firepower, offensive juggernauts, left and right.
Yeah,
Steve Mason's gonna. That's potentially your issue. No matter who you got back there, with Gostisbehere or not,
defense. It all comes down.
Flyers are going to be there. The Flyers are going to be a good team.
You can grind down a defense in 7 games. The goaltender is who's going to end up standing on their head. Right when you get around game 5 or 6. That's when you're going to, I think, see your goaltender shine. Your goaltender will keep it in there for the first 4 games. You play 2 games at home or 2 games on the road. Then
Holtby's also played a lot of hockey this season.
Holtby tied the all-time record held by Martin Brodeur. 48 games he won this year. He tied the record. And he played, I think,
he's your
70.
Vezina Trophy winner, hands down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Vezina. I mean, when you look back, we could have said back around March, or not even March, January, February, that Peter Mrazek was giving him a run for his money, but that surely diminished after the injury problems.
Peter Mrazek definitely, hurt his groin, and there you have it.
You can't say it was all Peter Mrazek's fault. Obviously, freak things happen. I felt bad for him. I mean, obviously, a groin injury is nothing to mess with. It's an injury that takes some time to heal, and he has not been the same since. But we're rolling with Jimmy Howard, and we're going to give him, I think, a short leash as well. Finally, we're going to move on to the D-Man, Mr. Dan Bartley's bracket. Let me pull that one up.
The Detroit fans are going to love this.
And this is basically the total opposite of my bracket. You drank the Kool-Aid. You got the Washington Capitals win the Stanley Cup over Chicago.
I've been drinking the Kool-Aid for a couple months now.
I think our brackets are probably the most realistic brackets.
Washington Capitals, I get it. They're the team that everybody's picking to get knocked off in the second round.
We're hoping.
I completely understand your philosophy and your thinking on that one. I just think with Barry Trotz on the helm now,
with the actual
Braden
team.
Holtby, Ovechkin's got a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
You add Mike Richards.
Dangerous power play,
Add some good depth players, and they're a team that can do it. And I'm going to stick with my guns.
I know, but dude, honestly,
they're going to have to beat themselves, as you said.
They do, and they could beat themselves up, and they could lose. Dude, Philadelphia could beat them. Pittsburgh could beat them. The Rangers could beat them. I don't see any of the Florida teams touching them, but Washington is either going to go all the way and win it, or they're going to get knocked out first or second round. That's the way I look at it. And as far as our picks are concerned, all four of us got Washington going to the. But you get so scared that you just can't. Obviously, and just like I was talking about before the show started, there's going to be probably a sweep in one of the rounds, whether it be the first or second or the third.
Dallas, Minnesota.
Dallas, Minnesota has probably the potential. None of us picked the sweep. Usually, your safest bet's to go with 5 or 6 games, but. There's going to be some upsets, and I think it's going to start in the first round. I think that, even though that we went ahead and we rolled with what we predicted, I think that, I really don't see Minnesota beating Dallas, but we've seen stranger things happen. My upset, if you want to call it one, I got San Jose beating the Kings. I think I was the only one that actually picked San Jose going on to the next round. But
I believe you were the only one.
Nashville over Anaheim could also happen, but it's, I think, probably
a good series.
I think that's probably more liable to happen than Minnesota beating Dallas. I feel like Anaheim is a team that has had some first-round scares in the past. Look at Detroit back in 2013. They had control over that series. We came back and beat them.
Had a young goaltender.
Young goalie, Jonas Hiller. And Anaheim is a
John
team.
Gibson.
Yeah, I think it was Jonas Hiller. When we had it. But yeah, John Gibson is also a goaltender with not a lot of experience, and that could come back to bite him. We don't know that. But like I said, the West is so dangerous. Thank God the Red Wings are not in the West no more, because they would be.
Even made the playoffs.
I don't think they would have either if they were still in that Central, man. But anyway, that's that. So we all got the Capitals going to the Cup Finals. Danny's got the Caps. I got Chicago. Steve's got St. Louis. Chris has got the Kings, and we will see in about 3 or 4 weeks.
You got a little ways.
Got a little ways to go. I think one of us potentially will be probably a first-round bracket buster. We'll see who makes it the farthest, who has the bragging rights. So, but back to a live look in the Red Wing game. Let me just refresh this real quick. It is still 2-2 with about a minute and a half to go in the second period. So, winding down. Let's switch gears and talk about Tigers baseball, shall we? The Detroit Tigers segment tonight is presented by Garden City Community Chat. If you want to know everything about what is happening in the city of Garden City and the surrounding communities, please tune in live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. right here on TalkShoe.com/TC/82757 for Garden City Community Chat with your host, the one and only Chatman himself, my father, Mr. Kerry Partin. So tune in to GC Community Chat every Thursday night here on TalkShoe. So the Tigers, we've gotten our first 6 games into the season. We're playing Pittsburgh Pirates tonight with a what do we got now? 4-2 record.
Shane Gangrene versus Ryan Vogel's son. That's a couple of aces right there on the bump. Yeah, well, and then you get Jordan Zimmerman versus Garrett Cole tomorrow.
Should that be a good?
That's a matchup that you.
That puts some butts in the seats.
1 o'clock. Garrett Cole versus Jordan Zimmerman tomorrow. That's a game that you need to watch, folks, if you like pitching.
Well, right now the Detroit Tigers are up 5-2. In the top of the 6th inning.
It's Ryan Vogel's son.
Yeah.
Let me guess.
How about this one? Salty. Salty, man. Listen to this. A 3-run bomb by Saltalamacchia, homered on the first pitch in the 6th inning with scoring Cabrera, Martinez, and Castellanos. So it was actually 2-1 Pittsburgh. Thank you, Jared Saltalamacchia.
Making that Brian Holiday trade a little easier to swallow.
Yeah, and he's doing his job so far.
That's teed one off Jose Fernandez.
That's his second home run. Salty has some pop, man. I'm telling you. A lot of people dogged this guy, but I think he's going to be, as far as with James McCann being out too on the 15-day DL, I think that, not too much to worry about. I trust Assault Lamakia. He's that veteran power leadership that we were talking about before. And I think anything is possible with him. But Tigers off to a 4-2 start their first 6. Pittsburgh Pirates pretty much equal, 5-3. Really anything to report about the Tigers as far as what you've seen the first 6 games?
One,
really, Urzy.
It's a very small sample size.
Very small.
And I'm going to touch into this one player because he's really been – I like the signing. And then right now – and then at the beginning of the season, I started going, oh, this could be a very bad season. And I'm still going to go on a limb and say Justin Upton's going to strike out 200 times this season.
Man, really?
But he's also going to hit you 30 home runs. And
you think he's going to have a career year as far as his offensive numbers are concerned?
He's going to hit you 30 home runs.
Yeah.
But he's going to strike out close to 200 times.
But if you hit me 270,
and he's going to hit another one up in the camera well, which is phenomenal.
But if you hit me 270 for the season, hit me 30 home runs and just shy of 100 RBIs, I'll be happy. You can strike out 200 times, but
he's going to the way he is.
The way he swings, his swing is just so wild sometimes.
He's a very. If he could just shorten up, gets 2 strikes on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like to see him go to right field a little bit. That's not his game. But maybe when the Tigers brass gets a hold of him a little bit more, maybe he starts watching Cabrera and JD Martinez a little bit more. He's going to start driving the ball to right field, and that's kind of what I want to see. Mm-hmm. I want to see the strikeout numbers go down. I get it. You're a power guy.
This is a guy that has the most strikeouts he had in the season with just 2 years ago with Atlanta. Had 171 strikeouts in the season. That's his career high. Still managed to bat 270.
So I can live with that.
Hit 29. Dude, this is basically what you're saying he's going to do. He had 29 home runs, 102 ribbies that year.
And I'm not looking at the computer.
No, and had a 270 average. And he has hit 30 home runs once in his career in 2011 with Arizona. But, I mean, the guy is crazy. For as much as he strikes out, he is still a career 273 hitter. That's decent. I can take that.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
But you're also going to... We're going to come on the air, and you're going to go, Justin Upton went 0 for 4, bases loaded.
Miggy Cabrera has those games, too. You're going to have those slumps, and you're going to have those games. Now, if it's – you can hit those numbers, but if your numbers then start to reflect outcomes of close games where just one single could have made all the difference, or if we have a team like – hitting 30 and 40 home runs, but we still go on to only win 84, 85 games, then we got problems because then that means you're not getting that hit when you really need that hit. You know what I'm saying?
He's the guy. He's batting second, and the Tigers.
He's a potential leadoff.
The Tigers 1 through 5 is probably one of the best,
dangerous
in Major League Baseball.
It is.
Right now, I like the lineup. Mm-hmm. The biggest concern for me is pitching.
Yeah.
Now, what I've seen – now, you asked me what I've seen, what I thought of the season so far.
2 starts out of Mr. Justin Verlander.
Justin Verlander, one start where you're like, oh, he's got no-hit stuff. The other start, you're like –
what happened there?
What is this?
Yeah.
Anibal Sanchez, okay. I watched both his starts very closely because this is a guy that I'm very intrigued with on his season. And what he's going to do –
coming back from injury.
Is he's had injury-riddled seasons. Mm-hmm. What is he going to perform? And he can't go deep into games.
No.
He seems like
5 innings tops.
He's 5-6 inning guy tops now. It doesn't seem like the velocity's not quite there. I know he's pitching.
I don't think he's comfortable yet. I think he's still trying to get back into that rhythm.
And here's a bold prediction, and you're not going to like it, but it's how it is, and it's my mental makeup right now.
Yeah.
He's won against 2 NL teams in his first 2 starts. He won against Miami and Pittsburgh. Wait until he sees an American League team. Yes, he's given up very little earned runs right now.
But
good ERA.
It's not a hitting league.
But the NL
is so good with pitching.
The NL, you got that pitcher batting. Mm-hmm. You got maybe a weaker lineup in the NL. It's debatable. Go against 2 NL teams. He had good numbers. Now wait until his next start when he goes in against an American team, American League team.
Well, it'll probably be Houston.
And that's a lineup that's going to kill him.
Yeah, Houston's been putting up some numbers. Their record isn't really the best. But
that is my cause for concern. Justin Verlander, okay, he's going to have his bad start here and there. It's Justin Verlander. Mm-hmm. He'll bounce back. I think Justin Verlander is going to win 15 games this year.
I mean, I'm not going to really jump to any conclusions as far as his first 2 starts. Yes, the first start was good. Obviously, first start of the season, and the second one was just kind of like, eh. But I think we also have to come to realize, as Detroit Tigers fans, is that this ain't the must-see JV from 5, 6, 7 years ago.
He's not throwing fireballs up.
No, and I'm tired of the velocity talk because velocity is one thing. Yeah, he's not a 100-mile-an-hour fireballer anymore. He can get up to 94, 95 at best. As long as the control is there, I'll be happy. That slider, that 6 slider that he's got, that curve is still working for him. He can still use that as his third out pitch. I think I predicted this, 2 or 3 years ago when we were talking about the Tigers as far as
he had
the
some
preview.
Of the best numbers in baseball years past. He was really lights out. He was that.
But age comes up to you.
But he's that guy that all those fireballs, all those 90-plus mile an hour fastballs,
they hurt him in the long run.
It just you got to have good off pitches. You got to have good off-speed pitches, and he's developed them. And that's what I see with Jose Fernandez is can throw 95, 96, 97 plus, but he's going to work on some off-speed pitches.
Yeah,
he's with Miami right now, so he has some time before he gets either traded away or whatever. But he's another guy that I would like to see tone it down a little bit. Justin Verlander, 92, 93 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And reach back. That's what I want to see from Verlander. Is if you're an older guy, you don't have to bring it anymore.
No.
But when you
work on your breaking balls.
6th, 7th inning, I want to see that, you're 3-2, bases loaded, you're in a jam, tight jam. I want to see you reach back for 96, 97 and get that big out. That's what I want to see from Justin Verlander.
Just don't use it as much. Yeah, don't use it as much. But if you feel like your slider and your curveball's not working for you for that third out, yeah, throw some heat down there. You don't have to. You can keep your pitch count low if you keep your velocity at a decent, steady pace. Like, your fastball right now shouldn't be more than probably 92, 93.
Cold weather in the D.
Yeah, and you're going to blow your arm out if you're trying to throw it now. But if you wait when we start getting into, May and June, July, when you start getting heated up a little bit, and you can use that 97-mile-an-hour fastball. You can throw back, and I get that. But also, that curveball that he has, too, is also a really big third-out pitch. And that's what he's been working on lately. He's had somewhat of a flat slider lately. And I think that's what he has to work on. Yeah, the cold weather is going to do that. And he even said the other day he thought his slider was a bit flat. So, and the cold weather is not – it's definitely going to be a huge added effect to that.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's game. Now, tonight is Local Sun versus Green. It's going to be a smash 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em game. Now, tomorrow's going to be your pitching duel, and tomorrow's the game that you want to see. I want to see how Jordan Zimmerman goes against another ace. Yeah. Jordan Zimmerman's the Tigers' second, third starter. Probably should be second. He's going against Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is a guy that is an ace. He's going to probably shut down the Tigers tomorrow. As good as the Tigers' offense has been, Garrett Cole's an ace. Yes, Jose Fernandez got beat by the Tigers, but he did strike out 13. Garrett Cole's pretty dominant. So the Tigers are going to see some good pitching. Whether it's Fernandez, and they're going to go to Houston. They're going to face Dallas Keuchel. That's always fun.
Yeah. I think it's definitely.
I believe Keuchel is scheduled to pitch. Don't quote me on that, but.
I don't want to be that guy and say, wake me after, 25, 30 games in the season, but, it would be nice.
You can't win the division, but you can certainly
lose it.
And
it's very common to say that, but it's the truth. It is the truth. Last year the Tigers started off 11-2, their first 13 games of the season.
I don't want to start 11-2.
I don't want that either.
I don't want that. Oh.
I'm so glad. We start out the season 3-0. Oh my God, everybody was starting to go, yeah, Tigers. But it's like, okay, you're going to come back down to reality at some point, and I'm glad that they didn't, win 10 or 12 in a row. And then they start losing,
Look at the Baltimore Orioles. They're 7-0 right now, and they're doing it without Adam Jones, who's is banged up with a rib injury.
It's going to die out.
You're doing it without your best hitter, and you don't have any pitching.
No.
You have Ubaldo Jimenez, who's pitching out of his mind in his first start. Baltimore Orioles, they're not for real.
No.
They're 7-0, and they're still – everybody's talking about Baltimore, how good Baltimore's doing right now. And then there's another guy, Trevor Story. Yeah, great. Pick him up in your fantasy baseball league, but he's going to be probably Chris Shelton
Yeah.
By August, you're going to say
Does he have 8 home runs in like the first 6 games or something?
he's mashing right now.
It's crazy.
Chris Shelton like numbers.
Yeah.
We all know what happened with
Chris Shelton, once he hit that magic number of, you remember what it was? 16. Once he hit 16 home runs, he never hit another one the rest of the year. He had 16 home runs, I think it was like the first 25 games of the season. Complete lights out.
No, I'm pulling for anybody that plays for the Colorado Rockies is instantly going to have a little bit of advantage with that atmosphere.
Yes.
In Colorado, because it's just a launching pad out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really pulling for the guy.
Yeah.
Trevor, he's got a good everything.
I like the story.
I
man.
like the Trevor story.
Trevor story, no pun intended.
And replacing Troy Tulowitzki. So that's a nice little fit for
a little bit of a hole that was filled.
But I would, you're in Colorado. You don't hear a lot about the Rockies. So if you're hearing about a guy playing shortstop, hitting 7-8 dingers the first couple games, I'm excited for that. I hope he can keep it up. I hope he's not Chris Shelton 2.0.
Yeah.
That I like the whole good feel-good moments, and hopefully it continues. There's another one in St. Louis right now, Hazelbecker.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's another good story. But the thing is it's early. You're going to have
12
those
RBIs
guys.
in the first 8 games of the season. I mean, that's just, you don't see that, man. 7 home runs in 7 games. So, man, I mean, it's cool to
Guys
see.
breaking right now.
It is cool to see. Of course, you're going to get everybody. You're going to get the media, ESPN, everybody talking. But ask me again about Trevor Story in
when he goes
July.
0 for 20 in the next week.
See what he is in July.
Yeah.
When the season's really starting to get going, and the Colorado Rockies, I mean, this is a team that's probably, as far as playoffs.
You're going to finish in the basement.
Yeah, you're not going to – this team is in no way, shape, or form, I think, going to contend for a playoff spot. What weird things have happened. But it is a cool story, no pun intended. And, I guess, hey, with the luck he has right now, I guess there's only really 2 things to say.
Holy jumping!
Now, I want to bring this close to a segment. I want to bring this. I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
A little fun little moment here. You're building your franchise.
Yeah.
Your expansion team. You're the.
Are we talking about hockey now?
No.
Oh.
No. Baseball. We're sticking baseball.
Oh, okay.
You get your choice of 1 pitcher, 1 position player. I seen this on MLB tonight. I was curious. I was going to throw this in our show. Who are you taking? You have 1. You're an expansion team. Say you're the Las Vegas Dark Knights.
So any offensive player and 1 pitcher.
Pitcher, offensive player. Who are you taking right now?
Right now, as far as the league goes? I guess, can I be mix NL and AL?
Yeah, anything you want. It's free range. You can grab 2 players from any team. You can't say Barry Bonds or
Bryce
Hank Aaron.
Bryce Harper and David Price.
David Price, huh?
I don't know, man. He hasn't slowed down yet, so I mean.
David Price is decent.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not concerned with age or innings.
No, it has to really come down also to kind of a ballpark you're going to be in.
Comerica Park-esque.
Yeah, like as far as offense is concerned, is it going to be helpful to the hitter and more? What's it going to be more helpful for? Is it going to be more helpful for the hitter or the pitcher? Offense usually. I mean, you can say offense wins games, but pitchers keep you in it. So
I'm going to pull Mike Trout away from the Angels
of course you are.
Because his career,
even though he's going to probably retire with the Yankees,
his career is going to deplete until he gets his calling card to one of the New York or Boston organizations.
Yes. All right. So Mike Trout is your
Mike Trout
position player.
and pitching is so difficult right now. There's a lot of guys that I thought about for the New York Mets. There's
Harvey.
Matt Harvey. No, not taking a guy that's had a Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, that's too risky. That can't be on your resume.
Felix Hernandez thrown a lot of innings.
That's my pick to win the Cy Young. You were probably thinking I was going to go with King Felix because I picked him for the Cy Young this year, but nah.
Chris Archer. Now, there's a couple names that I want to throw out there, and I know you're maybe not the biggest stat guy or watch analytics
so
as much as I am.
Yeah, you're more MLB.
But Noah Syndergaard, Thor, looks like Chris Hemsworth. All the ladies dig him.
Yeah.
He's a guy that a lot of people were picking on the special on MLB tonight.
This is what you were talking about, like where you saw the idea for this?
And I thought it was really intriguing.
What's
so I was
his name?
Noah Syndergaard.
Okay.
Really young, long locks, looks like Thor. Or Chris Hemsworth.
What a name.
Noah Syndergaard. It's an awesome name.
He kind of does look like him, yeah. It is not a baseball name for sure. Yeah, he is nicknamed Thor. Yeah.
And I the other night, I had the privilege of watching this, and I got to make a comment about it.
Yeah.
Noah Syndergaard versus Jose Fernandez, and it was phenomenal to watch. If you like the art of pitching that
pitching
game.
duels.
And then tomorrow, I'm kind of hoping to see that, but minus the strikeouts with Garrett Cole and Jordan Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm.
But that matchup between Fernandez and Cole was just off the charts. It was monumental seeing those two guys, probably two of the young studs of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're young, 22, 23 years old.
Yeah, 23 Syndergaard. Yep.
Fernandez is coming off Tommy John.
Mm-hmm.
Syndergaard has had no injuries. He's built like a horse. Unfortunately for the Mets, they got a little bit of injury with Jacob deGrom with his lat right now. So that's a cause for concern. But the Mets, with that pitching staff, you got the Dark Knight, you got Thor, and you got the...
Oh, God, if you want to start comparing their nicknames here.
Well, Jacob deGrom could be, I don't know, the long-haired guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to call it, but watching the Mets is my team to watch right now. If the Mets get a consistent offensive push, they're going to be dangerous because they got a decent bullpen.
Oh, Mets are going to be in the playoff hunt all season
You
long.
got a very good pitching staff.
Yeah,
If
you
they all
do.
stay healthy.
Yeah.
It's scary what they can produce. And you got you got your fifth guy is Bartolo Colon looking to tie Pedro Martinez's wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Who's their other pit? Let's see. They got Bartolo Colon. They got Steven Matz. They got Matt Harvey.
that rotation is whew.
Oh, Jacob deGrom.
Jacob deGrom, the guy with the long hair that you
Yeah.
probably are like, cut your hair because
Yeah,
the way you are.
And then hey, don't count out old Yoni.
Jonas Cespedes.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you're watching a baseball game and you have the opportunity to watch the New York Mets play, it's intriguing. Watching the Mets play,
Yeah.
the Mets are a very interesting team to watch. They're very entertaining.
They're 3-5,
And
but don't let that record fool
I
you.
don't mean to sound like a Mets slappy here because
Right.
I am a Detroit Tigers fan.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit it. But the Mets, watching Mets play baseball is just, I like the staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what a small sample size. Yeah, the Baltimore Orioles 7-0. Oh, good for Buck Showalter.
Might pick the Cubbies though, starting off the season red hot, just like I expected them to.
Big loss though with Kyle Schreiber.
Yeah,
That's a huge,
and I feel
huge
bad.
loss.
I felt bad for the guy. You know.
And of course, that's just a double whammy because he's a very powerful player. He's maybe a defensive liability out there
Yeah.
right now. But the Cubs have so much depth. I don't think they're really going to lose a whole lot, but they're going to lose some pop.
I was kind of shocked to see the Reds off to such a hot start. They're looking good. This is a team that's kind of coming off of a really bad season. A lot of people thought they'd make the playoffs last year. They totally bombed last year. The Reds, you know,
Jay Bruce and Joey Votto.
yeah, they're
and-
definitely still hitting and got good power.
Eugenio Suarez, too, the former Tiger, is really just shining. He's just look at Eugenio Suarez's numbers and you'll laugh. You're
The
gonna go,
Vigo Indian Premier League
you're gonna say
2016.
Eugenio Suarez's numbers. You might regret that trade, but
Man.
you might have wanted to keep Suarez and maybe have slot him in a few games with Nick Castellanos. I know
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos just had a 4-for-4 game, but then he also the next day went 0-for-4 with 4 strikeouts. So there you have
Right.
it. That's
Who was that pitcher for Cincinnati? Was it Brandon Finnegan? He almost had a no-hitter the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that.
He was acquired in the Aroldis Chapman deal, I believe.
Here's
Yeah.
a quick way to improve
All
game.
these stupid ads that keep popping up on all these sites.
You're on the MLB website, I take it?
CBS Sports. I was just looking at Brandon Finnegan because I read something about his. He had a no-hit that was broken up. I think it was last night, as a matter of fact.
There's been
to
a
Chicago.
few guys taking no-hitters into the 6th and
We haven't had
7th.
no no-hitters yet this year.
Yeah, give it time.
I'm
It'll,
shocked.
it'll be somebody like Ubaldo Jimenez or something like that. Some guy.
Or
you're not
David
expecting.
Price.
Okay.
Do you see? I mean, do you see some of your top name pitchers getting that no-hitter this year? Like, do you see another no-hitter from David Price or a Chris Sale or a, you know, I don't know, even a guy like Max Scherzer, who's kind of not off to a great start this year. But
I don't see Max Scherzer getting a no-hitter.
Mhm.
I'll make a bold prediction
Bold
right
prediction.
now and say it's a tough call.
it's
I'm
gonna
gonna,
be.
I'm
I
going
mean,
to say Noah Syndergaard.
Noah Syndergaard.
And that name's really stuck in my head right now.
God, you love him.
Noah Syndergaard is a guy that's going to throw a no-hitter this year, and I
Yes.
believe there's going to be a guy that you're not expecting.
Well, yeah.
Maybe Marcus Stroman. Possibly Chris Sale.
Chris Sale, yeah.
Chris Sale. Corey Kluber.
Yeah.
Carlos Carrasco.
Matt Harvey. That'd be a feel-good story. Any guy that comes off Tommy John that can get a no-hitter, that's a real feel-good
You'll have
story.
the guy from the Cincinnati Reds,
Yeah.
5th starter.
Yeah, it'll be, dude, you know. All right, over or under, because usually, I mean, we see probably about, 8 to 10 no-hitters a year, usually?
Maybe a little less.
A little less. I'm going to go ahead and give you that. I'm going to say over or under. I'm gonna throw a number 6. I'm going to say 6. Over or under 6 no-hitters this year?
Under.
You're going to say under 6 no-hitters. We're not talking perfect games. Those are very hard to come by.
I'm going to say under.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. As far I want to say there was about 8 to 10 no hitters last year. I felt like there was a lot of no hitters.
It did seem like last year was the year for no hitters.
It was. Pitching is becoming a more predominant position in baseball.
And there's so many good pitching. There's so many good pitchers in the league that you're looking at these teams and you're looking every in your series matchup. You're going, oh man, I got to face Arrieta. Oh man, I got to face Sale, and you're really dreading going into that series.
Just just to go touch back on that. I mean, I was close. There were 7 no hitters last year.
Name them.
Max Scherzer, Jake Arrieta, Mike Fears.
Mike Fears. They're
Yeah, there's a nobody from Houston, but Houston. That was Houston's big calling card. Hisashi Iwakuma from Seattle. Cole Hamels, and of course Max Scherzer. He had 2 last year. And that very first one that we got, it didn't actually happen until June. So last year's first no-hitter didn't come until June the 9th.
Weather is going to warm up.
Remember that one? Chris Heston. Chris Heston from San Francisco. I remember that. Yeah. So Chris Heston and Mike Fears were definitely the 2 unnamed, the no-names that got the no-hitters. But, so 7 were thrown last year. 14 actually had a lot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 were thrown in 2014. And, of course, Jordan Zimmerman.
Yeah, he's on the list. He could do it. It's got to see a little bit more. It's such a small sample size of Jordan Zimmerman. Going against 2 National League teams for opponents in his first 2 starts might be good for him.
Yep.
But maybe it won't be because they have seen Jordan Zimmerman. The book is out on him.
Yep.
Got good scouting reports. For the American League, they're kind of going on what he did against the National League opponents. So it should be interesting to see what Jordan Zimmerman can do going against some of these American League teams that have the DH, that have the more loaded lineups, in my opinion. It's just my own opinion. American League lineups are just so much hard to go through than the National League lineup.
Well, we'll see. Obviously more, I think, to come. Until we get about 20, 25 games into the season, we'll have a little bit more of a better outlook on the future of the Detroit Tigers. But for now, I guess we just keep riding the waves. It's a good start for 6 games. And, right now they're currently up on Pittsburgh. So
rest in peace, George Kell.
Yeah, rest in peace, George Kell. Not George Kell. The other one that died, Carey. Yeah,
My apologies.
I forget about his name. Yeah, George Kell, I think, already passed away. What was his name? Carey.
Tigers broadcaster.
Yeah, not Harry Carey.
No, not Harry Carey.
The Cubbies.
Paul
Carey. I'm sorry.
Carey. I know.
Paul Carey was he was actually in the booth for many years with Ernie Harwell. George Kell, I'm sure, as well. But, 88 years old. So, he obviously lived a great life. He was in the Tigers organization for nearly 20 years. So, I mean, it was nice to see him go peacefully.
Joining Ernie up there.
Joining Ernie up there, and I'm sure they'll be calling games up there in the big house in the sky. So, rest in peace, Paul Carey. And on that note, I know we wanted to touch really briefly on the Detroit Pistons before we wrap things up.
Pistons versus Cavaliers,
and that you want to start dogging the Red Wings as far as not being able to hang
Pistons
with Tampa.
Probably going to be sent packing.
This is a 1 versus 8 matchup
by LeBron and the Cavs here.
If Cleveland didn't have LeBron, this would be probably a little bit more of an easier task. But right now, they're currently beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is the final game of the season, which I guess you could say is a little bit of a momentum boost.
Tune-up there.
Yeah, it's a tune-up game. If I'm Cleveland, I would still be playing LeBron. I'd still be having your starters out there.
No.
You don't think so?
No, you want to make sure LeBron's ready to go so he can drop threes all day.
58-44 at halftime. So the Pistons got pretty good control
in
this game.
They're not going to play.
But still, I mean, the Pistons are more than likely going to close up the season at 44-38. Much higher, I think, expectation than anybody thought this team would do this year. It was a goal just to make the playoffs, and hell, that's actually a pretty for an NBA. Usually, you make the playoffs with a 500 record, and That's well above 500, and I thought that maybe it would take a little bit less wins to make the playoffs in the NBA this year as far as the Eastern Conference is concerned. But, it's a respectable record. And I think the Pistons, I'll go Cleveland in 5. I think the Pistons will not get swept. I think they will win a game.
Let's hope so. Put some butts in the seats.
But, my God, if they can take Cleveland anywhere past 5 or 6 games, it's going to be a tall task. But I think that
Andre Drummond's gonna make some
Reggie
free
Jackson,
throws and
Pope. They're gonna have to
Pope.
be on their game, man. The defense is gonna definitely have to make an appearance and hold LeBron at bay. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but form a fucking wall.
Okay, Van Gundy. Pistons down in 5.
Yeah.
I think the win.
You don't want to say
win
sweep.
one in Detroit and get the fans a little bit excited.
The potential for a sweep is obviously there, but I love how there's been almost absolutely no playoff hype since the Pistons made the playoffs.
No, the Wings are in there for 25 consecutive years. The Pistons on whatever.
Pistons first time in 7, so yeah.
Holy jumping!
So on that note, that's pretty much all I got for tonight's show. We want to make it pretty brief. Brief. Beef jerky. We kind of ran a little bit longer than we thought we were going to, but hey, it was a decent show, and all I can say is go Red Wings. We're about to start the third period, tied 2-2.
Ooh, man.
So on that note, we got our water bottles here. I'm almost out. You're almost out too.
Water.
We're both thirsty. Yeah, cheers. We didn't get to make that loud noise. We don't got the clanking of the glasses tonight, but on that note, we're going to call this one a podcast, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully the Red Wings are not going to be down this series.
Red Wings will be down in the
series. Put up a good fight, please. Just put up a good fight. That's all I got to say.
That's Ken Holland wrapping up Anthony Manta's contract.
Oh, wow.
And then, look at that.
Did you make it?
3 points.
Nice. All right, so on behalf of myself, Derek, and my co-host, Danny, we are going to call this one a show. We will see you guys next week.
Later.
Hey there, it's Mickey. I've been in the booth too long. Wings are in the playoffs. Holy jumping! Sing this song. Hey, get your red on. It's playoff time again. Hey, get your red on. The boys are playing.